We're coming in off the back of an incredible game between Paraguay and France. It was incredibly intense. Both teams got after it.
Just use the word you want.
There was so much shithousery in the game. It was crazy. It was nonstop.
Both teams. It's the only word to describe it.
Who was it? Golazo for Paraguay?
Yeah.
He was down on the field every 10 seconds.
Oh, you can't use that word.
It was crazy. Yeah,
whoa.
Don't want to go too far.
Trust me, I've been there. Sitting next to him, I've been there.
Going down on the field every 10 seconds. It was crazy the way that Paraguay seemingly got in the heads of the France players by the end of the game, and it is the VAR review that ultimately awards the penalty on the challenge from Gomez on Doué, converted by Mbappe. But if not for that, then you might still be playing.
How many yellow cards for Paraguay in this game?
Zero.
Yeah, zero. Played the referee as well.
Absolutely extraordinary.
Played the referee as well. Incredible.
So I guess Paraguay tried to play a certain kind of game, but ultimately couldn't find enough going forward. But if anything, this game played exactly as they could have wanted it to be.
Yeah, listen, this was a game plan. The first 45 minutes to work to perfection from Paraguay. Very solid, very tactical aware. Obviously understanding if you get 2v1 situations in wide area, you can nullify France. And they did an exceptional job in the first 45 minutes. But you cannot do that for 90 minutes. Top teams, world-class teams with exceptional talent on the bench and one of the greatest coaches we've ever seen in an international game will always find a way to be able to break you down. They can get ugly as well. And France had to get ugly in this game to find a way to get through an opponent that was just not going to go away easily. So I'm excited to break it down, but for me, this was just a brilliant watch. And sometimes these games are not excellent to watch for the average viewer, but for us who played the nasty game, to me, it was a good watch. I thought it was a tactical, brilliant approach from Paraguay, and they almost got it done. They just forgot to attack themselves.
Yeah, look, I'm a big fan and a big advocate for teams who earn the right to win games like this. And when you look at teams that go the distance in World Cup finals, and we're backing this France team because they're stacked for talent. We saw it on display, the players that you're able to bring off the bench if you're Didier Deschamps. I mean, this France team has an edge that I did not think in a game like this, especially what we saw in the first half, Ian. I was starting to doubt, is this the game? Is this the match that maybe we start seeing the cracks in the pavement? And we got an answer to that. No. This is a France side that we saw a different adjustment in the second half. In the first half, though, and I know what you're about to say, in the first half, we saw some players, Michael Olise, lose his cool a bit. Michael Olise almost loses cool at the end of the match as well. Ousmane Dembele looked a shadow of himself. But as you said, good teams, when the game's open, they make the game on their own terms. Yeah. Great teams, they find ways to win. And we saw a great team do what it took to win a game today.
The only thing I would add to what you're saying there is that there was that reaction sometimes from certain players that we haven't probably seen before in an aggressive manner. They got wound up, France. They were frustrated. They started to go head-to-head. They started to react to some of the challenges and some of the shithousery, as Chris pointed out. They did. They reacted, and I think you have to sometimes recognise the moment. Even after the game, when the final whistle goes, they were still trying to wind the France players up, and there was a reaction coming from France. You're not through. You've won the game. You won the battle. On to the next one. Focus on the big prize at the end of the day. And sometimes when you're in that moment, when you're in the heat and you're frustrated and it's not been a great game, it can really get the better of you. And I think maybe that certain nations can learn from what Paraguay tried to do to France today. But this was not a pretty game for the average viewer out there. It just wasn't. And it wasn't for France either. There'll be a lot of people who in France right now watching this game won't care. Their team won and they found a way.
And they did so because they were able to bring on so much quality from the bench. It was Desiree Doué who ultimately made the difference. Even though this wasn't a classic France performance, you were at the game against Sweden when they turned it on for 20 minutes and looked like the overwhelming beasts that they can be. This was a different kind of victory, the kind of victory that they've had en route to multiple World Cup finals now. They look on their way to a third successive final. What is it about what France can do from the bench to change a game that just makes it so overwhelming, beyond just bring on great players?
Well, this is where we have to give kudos to Didier Deschamps, because as a manager, as a coach, as a head coach, and we've had head coaches that have lost their cool, you cannot be the one to lose your cool. You cannot be the one to project your frustration onto the pitch and onto your players. And there was only one time where Didier Deschamps threw his arms up, and that was in frustration to Michael Olise. And I don't know much French, but the French that I do know, he was telling them, calm the hell down, Michael. Calm the hell down, because it's a 90-minute affair. And as I said, when you have some of the players and some of the weapons on the bench, you have people who can solve problems. Today was Desiree Doué. In previous matches, it was Bradley Barcola. And it leads me to this, where if you're a manager and a head coach like Didier Deschamps, who is now, I think, is 24 match at the World Cup, which is the second most of all time amongst all head coaches, and you get another win like this, excellent. I just love the fact that there's a level of accountability he holds his players to, and there's also a level of awareness you need to have, Ian, where you need to realize when the timing of when to make a sub and when it's just not a player's day or a player's game to make that impact. He could have easily left Bradley Barcola on the pitch because he had that chance where he nutmegs 2 or 3 players, he puts the shoulder down, and he almost scores the goal. Yeah. He takes him off a couple minutes later and puts in Desiree Doué. And some people at home might be thinking, wait, leave him on the field if you're Barcola. He's about to cook, but he has such a pulse on this team. He has such a connection to each and every one of these players that he knows how to pull every ounce of quality out of every single sub, out of every single player to just sing the best tune for this national team. It's about French football first, and it's all about winning.
He's a genius, Didier Deschamps. He's an absolute genius. What he did do with this roster is he upset a lot of players out there who were so desperate to be involved in this roster because France are the favourites going into this World Cup. And of course, when you look at the squad depth that they've got, that's the reason why they are the favourite for this World Cup. But what Deschamps did is he tactically picked individuals, obviously on a chemistry reason, first and foremost, making sure they gel with the team. But also, what can you do for me? If I need to tactically change in games when it's not working for us, and I need to tactically change to a long ball approach. Do we need to get stuck in? Do we need to have a bit of a battle here? Do we need a moment of brilliance? Obviously having a Doué to be able to bring off the bench and to win a penalty kick in that way, silly challenge from Gomez, but you still have the creative genius looking for that contact in the penalty. He's gone against 3 players, Desiree Doué, waiting for the contact. To me, it's a tactical approach from the manager, Didier Deschamps. He knew that he can rotate this tactical game 4, 5, 6, 7 different ways. He can play in multiple ways. Defensively, they were very solid for the final 10 minutes. They were a bit disappointed. They made a few errors. But for 80 minutes, they didn't really make any mistakes. And they weren't really challenged too much by this Paraguay side, who obviously lost 2 of their most dangerous players in Almiron and Enciso. But I was really impressed with Cherki and Doué, who came off the bench and did exactly what they're told to do. Go win the game for us. Could you imagine playing for Didier Deschamps? I mean, this guy's won it as a player. He's won it as a coach. And he still has the enthusiasm. And obviously, with what happened in his family in the recent weeks, he's now got a bigger purpose in his life. He's doing it for some purpose that's obviously personal to him. So every single decision he makes, being that manager, is scrutinised. And it's fabulous to watch them. An ugly game. It's an ugly game.
Yeah, of course it was. Matter. But the 1 goal comes from Kylian Mbappé. He's now played 19 games at the World Cup and has scored 19 goals. He also extends his lead at the all-time list for goals scored in the knockout round of the World Cup. He's now on 11. The other previous record holders were Leonidas and Ronaldo Nazario, the original OG Ronaldo. These are figures and numbers which seemed impossible. They seemed like they could not be broken, and yet the one thing that is staggering about Mbappe, beyond the fact that he's 27 doing this, is that he makes scoring at the World Cup look easy. And that is the most staggering thing. Think about the number of people that tell others, I scored a goal at the World Cup. He scores in every game at the World Cup that he plays. It's extraordinary that game after game after game, and this is a penalty, but he takes it calmly. Game after game, he does his job, scores a goal. It just makes it look easy.
Yeah, Ian, for you, how good is Kylian Mbappé right now versus when you thought he was coming into the World Cup?
Yeah, Kylian Mbappé, I always expected would switch it on when he pulls on that France jersey in a FIFA World Cup. He's done it in the previous 2 editions. He scored a hat-trick in the final last time out and lost. Let's make no mistake about it. This was going to be his moment to shine once again after a disappointing season.
Yeah, look, I never thought I would see a player, and we could talk about Messi and what he's done since the last World Cup in 2022, but I never thought I'd see a player be well on his way to achieve what maybe Pelé has done as a player. And that's a big thing to say. But what he's doing on a football pitch when he puts on a France jersey, there's only been one other player with the age that he has, with the decisiveness that he has, that I can't believe what I'm watching. And what you said about him from the spot, the pressure. I don't think people understand how much pressure there is on that penalty kick, how much pressure that goes when you're the main man for France, when you didn't have the season that a lot of Madrid fans thought you would have had. And mind you, he scored over 40 goals, and it still wasn't deemed good enough at Madrid. Madrid fans were saying, Let's pay, what was that, GoFundMe to get him out? France fans are saying, we'll pay that GoFundMe to keep him in France and have him play every single day of the season. So I just love watching Kylian Mbappé. We're seeing a different Kylian Mbappé. And for him, I think I looked at it, it's now 100 goals he's been involved with the French national team, which is out of this mind.
He's 27.
And he's only 27 years old. Lionel Messi, we're going to give him his flowers. Every time we talk about Lionel Messi, he keeps on just pushing the envelope. But we're witnessing who will be the leading goal scorer of all time when his career is done. He's going to smash Messi's record, and I don't think he's done, not just at this World Cup, but he's got so much more football to prove for France.
I find it very difficult to say that Lionel Messi's not the greatest international player of all time. Obviously, Pelé celebrated with all of the goals that he scored in 3 World Cup trophies. You can't say that Messi's better than Pelé because of that reason. But for me personally, watching a genius at work, and obviously in our lifetime watching Lionel Messi, can't believe how lucky we are. But yet there's Kylian Mbappé. Now, players like Messi have made it normal. Cristiano Ronaldo have made it normal to score goals on a consistent basis. This is not normal what we're witnessing from Kylian Mbappé. As you mentioned already before, this guy scores goals. He has more knockout round goals than Cristiano Ronaldo does have World Cup goals, full stop. Put that into context now, what Mike just said, that this guy is probably going to overtake Lionel Messi in this competition. He's going to score more goals, break a record that's been going for, 12 years from Miro Klose. He's going to break that record that's just been broken by, to me, the greatest player who ever played in Lionel Messi. It's amazing, exceptional, world-class what we're witnessing right now, and it's almost become normalised because of what we're witnessing. Erling Haaland's goal record, goal per game, club and country. It's absolutely insane. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's almost at 1,000 goals. It's insane. And yet, maybe we've not celebrated this kid as much as we probably should have done. He won a World Cup as a teenager. He scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final. And yet, here I am saying, Messi's the greatest player that ever lived. Cristiano Ronaldo, 1,000 goals, one of my heroes. This guy quietly just does the business. And it's almost to me that he does it better in a France jersey than he ever has done it in a club jersey. There's something about Les Bleus that means so much to Kylian Mbappé. He turns me on as much as he does his own supporters.
And he sort of does go into another gear. There's like that fast twitch burst of acceleration. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because I agree with you. It is a completely different thing for France than it is for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's down to the manager. I think it's down to Deschamp. There's an admiration. There's just a space to go and be yourself. He accepts him as the imperfect person he is. He'll never be the perfect person. None of us are. But Deschamps says, here's the armband. Go and be yourself. Go lead this country. And he's reaping the rewards.